Welcome to another episode of That Crazy Triangle Guy. Here we are looking at Bitcoin US dollar index on the hourly time frame, and we're traveling nicely up in our new parallel channel. Um, Now we have this little red X down here and this green X here, and they are positioned at the time of 1300 hours UTC, a Monday morning. That is when the U.S. market that's the hour that the U.S. market opens on an hourly chart. It would be like 1330 actually, but so those were kind of guesstimates of where we could end up at market open. Now, obviously, it looks like we're going to hit this green one, but let's see where we came up with this red one for a minute. And to do that, we have to go to our FBTC. What the hell is going on? Let me figure this out. Well, let's just do something like this and see if it comes back. Wow, that was weird. Maybe it's the sun flares. The sun flares are zapping my computer. So here on the FBTC chart, we have a parallel channel we were traveling up in, and then here is a representation of our bull flag channel on this chart for this fund. And so here on the FBTC chart, we have been traveling in this bull flag pattern and have broken out of it and holding it as support, which is a little bit different than what we're doing on the Bitcoin chart. Now, in order to maintain that as support Monday morning, which is what the Wall Street boys want to see. See, this chart behaves differently a little bit than Bitcoin chart. And they can do their funny business after market hours and on weekends and what have you. But this wants to look a certain way. Now I understand why Eric Crown uses CME futures a lot of times because, because of who controls the market. So what we want to do is measure from our close. I'm trying to get on it. Let me open this up a little bit. Measure from our close on Friday, which is this line. There we go. And then down to that channel. Let's even go like this a little bit. There we go. Down to where that we would hit that channel on Monday morning. And we get about 2%, a little over 2.14%, something like that. So then we go over here and we click on our little measuring tool and we go to where we closed. I have to open this up a little. Where we closed at 1900. The U.S. market closes at 1900 hours on the Bitcoin chart. And so the close was right there. And then we measure down about 2.1. Well, we got 2.2%, close enough. So we place this X here. And what is interesting is that, well, this line's a little bit off for some reason. Actually, oh, you know why? I think maybe, let's see if we do this. Yeah, it looks like I made it. No, it's a little bit off. I don't think I had clear lines to draw it on. Yeah, so we had this line here, this line here. That looks a little bit better where I have it placed there. But anyway, so it's just really interesting that we have this level of support here. and right there where we would wick down to and still be able to hold support on the FBTC chart. So that was a potential area if we were feeling kind of bearish. I was looking for that as a target to wick down to. And if you notice this red line here, let's switch to a daily chart. That would be about as far as we want to come down. And we'll show you what that red line is. We'll get rid of all this. There's the red line. There's our X. This red line is our trend line of support that we came down to here. Let me actually just put this on auto. There we go. It's easier. It's our trend line of support that we wick down to here. Yeah, we had one little wick through it here, but held it as support here. It's where we started our rally. It's been support ever since the start of our rally on October 9th. Where is October 9th? Well, how about October 11th, I guess. Why do I want to say October 9th? I don't know. So anyway, that's our trend line of support. We would not want to come down through that red X. Now, I've been just offering up the possibility of where we could wick down. You know, I still feel that, just kind of feel like I don't know what I feel like. Let me stop for a second, gather. I guess what I'm trying to say is that they got to me. I've been so many people just saying crazy ass numbers like down below 50, lower 50s, 40, even 40s and stuff that I'm thinking, you know what? And I know, okay, I know for a fact that we are about to explode. But a lot of times before we explode, there will be that final dump. And so that's kind of what I've been like looking for in the charts to see where we could go if we did have some sort of a dump. So, but you know what? I don't think it's going to happen now. And what's really, really funny is I had my leverage up to about around 50,000. And the reason being, well, here, look at this, the liquidation chart. You got all this leverage down here, and they think they're safe. And I just can't get it out of my head. What if one of these weekends outside of Wall Street hours that we just, everybody, all the big boys, all the they people that are manipulating things behind the scenes, what if they just pulled out all their buy orders and this thing just dumped down here to liquidate all these people and then popped right back up? I don't know. It's a tinfoil hat kind of thing, but you know what? These long dumps have happened in the past. Like, let's go look back in the past because a lot of people say this time around we're getting 10, 15, 20% dumps, pullbacks. You call them. They're not even anything like we've had in the past. So I think, hey, what if we just haven't had? Are we gonna? Maybe we'll have those. Maybe we'll have these dumps like this. Like for example, back here. Uh, Okay, let's just. Oh, I gotta undo this guy. Let's see what this one was. Yeah, okay, like this one, for example. This was over a weekend. That's Thursday, Friday. So Friday we started to dump. And then Saturday and Sunday, let's measure it. Saturday and Sunday, we dumped 20%. But overall, over a few days, this move, it's like about a 30% move over the course of a few days. Well, then back here, you had something like this where we were coming down. We were coming down in a bull flag, just like we are right now. And then over just a couple days, 2, 3 days, we dumped 20%. So over 2 days, we dumped 20%. And what days were those? Oh, that was a Wednesday and a Thursday, oddly enough. How about we look at like this, something like this? We were even coming up here, and then over the course of 2 days, another 30% dump. So some of these things just got in my head from the past. And so those were like looking at 30% moves over the course of a couple days. So what if we did? Where's our green line? There we are. We're right about there right now. What if we dumped 15% in a day? That would take us right around 51,000. So, and then 30%. What if we dump 30? Or all we'd have to do is dump like 20%. That'd bring us down to about 48 or so. And that's kind of where I would be liquidated. And so I moved. So I was, kind of really nervous about being away from my computer and not being able to change my positions and stuff like that. And so I de-risked a little bit and came down to like somewhere way down here. And when I did that, I looked at the chart a whole different way. I'm like, oh man, what was I thinking? We're not dumping. We're not going to dump. We're going up. And it was as clear as day. It's like it didn't make any sense. Why would we come down past this red line? Why would we come down through this blue line? Why would we come down so far through the Gaussian channel? Who's calling me? Let's find out. So we're going to look at the 21-week moving average, simple moving average. We're going to look at the daily Gaussian channel. We're going to look at that red trend line. I have my measuring tool clicked right here. This is back in 2017, March 2017, where during our bull rally on one single day, we did have a wick through the 21-week moving average. And we wicked down just about 3.5% in March 25th, it looks like. That was on a Saturday. So, and where did we wick down to? We did wick down to the center of this channel right here that we had held as support there, held as support here. I bet some people will think there was a little interruption there. So what I was saying is we were looking at the center line here. It's acting as resistance. It started holding as support anyway, and held as support here. But as you can see, just a little bit back here in January, we came all the way down to the bottom of this channel, and also back here and back here. So I bet a lot of people were thinking as we were in this thing that we could come all the way back down to here. I would certainly be thinking that, but we didn't. We stopped short. And maybe because we couldn't come that far down through the 21-week moving average, very possibly. So I wanted to show that, and that was the only time in a bull rally. I think, I don't know. I haven't really gone back further. Let's go back further and look. What happened back here? Well, back here we kind of came down through it a lot, but that was it's a pretty major correction we were having. Um, and then we did come down through it here again. That must have been. See, I wonder what that was. I don't know. I was not around during this time. And what day was this? This was, oh, it was on a Wednesday. And Bitcoin was only a few $100s at the time. But this is another example of when we did wick through the 21-week moving average. And that was, yeah, about 4%. So again, 3 to 4% is all we've done in the past, other than this big thing, whatever that was. Um, so, and again, we didn't necessarily, there's no sense in talking about that really. It was so long ago and nobody has any idea about what kind of factors influence that move. So, but in these bull rallies, really, other than this one and that one we just looked at, just a few percent are the only times that we came down through the 21-week moving average. We had nice little pumpy moves, little pullbacks, and these little capitulatory moves downwards. See, that's what I'm thinking. We haven't really had that. I don't know. We'll have to look again when we get back to that time. And see those little moves here and then boom down. So they've come close to the 21-week moving average. This one didn't at all. But then when we come back down through it is when we start heading down, heading down, heading down. This is our little pre-bull run, pre-bull run, bull run. So then here we held it as support all the way through there, all the way through here. And then when we did wick down through it, it was, this little dip in between our April and November highs there. And then when we came down through it, it was all downhill from there, mostly downhill. So here we are, kind of went through it a little bit there and here. So not really. See, this was weird in August when this happened, but whatever, it happened. So here we are in our really Super Bowl rally and should be holding that as support. So if we did come down through it, maybe a little percentage. I'm thinking at most we could come down to maybe that center line, 5%, 53,000. But I don't even think we're going to do that. So, but if we did, I don't think there's going to be any big move down, really. I don't think there's going to be any move past this line. I don't even think there's going to be, I think this was as close as we were going to get right here at about 56,000 when it was at about 54 and a half. I think that's as close as we're getting to the line. And now we're, every indication is that we're moving onwards and upwards. So I said we're going to look at the 21-week moving average. We're looking at this trend line. We already looked at that earlier, I believe. I don't remember if I deleted that video or not, but this is the trend line we've been holding since October 11th. came down to it here, just wicked through it just a tiny little bit there on one daily candle that closed our bodies above it. And now we're back. We came back on it here. And I think that was it. I think that was it back here on is that May 1st we did that? I guess it was the first day of May. And then the other thing was the daily Gaussian channel. Let's turn that on. Now I do have these dashed lines here that represent the daily Gaussian channel, so that we don't have to have this on here and it distorts all the colors so that I don't know what they mean with all these hollow, weird colored candles. But you can see now I haven't adjusted these lines for several days, but they're holding pretty strong because these curves change a little bit as time moves on. So they're holding pretty solidly where I've drawn them. And I do believe that we're going to start moving up here, and this is going to start curving upwards like this. So typically what we do with the Gaussian channel is once we dip our toe in and get sucked into it and come all the way through, this is Gerber baby language, because he talks about dipping your toe into the quicksand and getting sucked in and pulled through all the way out the bottom. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we just hold the mean band. Sometimes you got to expect, though, that we're going to come down to at least the bottom of the Gaussian channel and even wick through sometimes. And it's just what we've done. And then we recover from that. And we came up, and right here, you saw a rejection off the mean band. Came back down to retest this as support, which we have, and it's holding. And onwards and upwards minimally to this, the mean band of the Gaussian channel again. So I expect to see that this week. I expect to see it sometime, and most probably this week is what we'll see. And we'll get into that later because I'm going to go over the 5-day chart and the setup that's occurring, that has occurred there, and is getting ready to come to fruition, whatever. So let's look back at the Gaussian channel in the past. You can see once we came down to it here, we just wicked out the bottom barely before we recovered, held the mean band to support, and then onwards and upwards from there. And you don't want to look at it in a bear market. See, remember, this is the August where we fell below the 21-week moving average. That was really really a strange move. It was really I remember this. It was a lot of manipulation going on here. I remember when they did this. And anyway, that's a story for another day. But now, could we see something like this? Maybe, but I don't think we're going to. I don't think we're going to. Typically, we don't want to look at the bear market. We want to look at the bull markets. Well, this is more sideways action here. But like here, this is kind of what I'm expecting to see. Something like this one here, something like this one here, and even this one here, whatever, something like this one here. That's a move I'm expecting to see from where we're at right now. Oh, you know what? What was the one I pointed out where we did start to turn red? It was right here. We just passed it. Was that it? I don't want to pause this. Is there another one where we started to turn red back here? I don't know. But I believe that we are ready to move back up through here and onwards and upwards. Probably to this orange X. Now, what is that orange X? Let's go over our head and shoulders pattern that's forming here. And we want to turn off the Gaussian channel and go to a four-hour chart maybe. So by now everybody's talking about the head and shoulders patterns. And in my last video, I showed that we placed this, the we who are they, placed this here on Wednesday. On Wednesday, I had enough sense before any of this price action that this channel, which touches this candle wick here and this candle wick here, and is anchored on the bottom of the head here, or the top of the head, which is upside down, is the channel that we're going to be traveling in. And sure enough, that's the brighter of these lines right here. Sure enough, that's where we're reversing and forming our right shoulder or left shoulder, depending on which way this person is facing. So if that is the case, and we do complete this shoulder and break the neckline here, which is this orange line, then you can't see it, but it connects right here. I'm pretty accurate with my lines. Anyway, this measured move right here from the top of the head to the neckline, I pulled over here, and what I did is I placed it in a spot where it would come out of the channel, similarly to what it has done over here. But you know what? Maybe it somewhere in this area, we should hit this target of around 75,000, which means that we come up through our previous all-time high and the top of this symmetric triangle. So possibly that is what we do. That we come up here, maybe bounce and hold this. But what I'm thinking is what we're going to do is that we travel up here. We get good news on the CPI data, which is this vertical line here. And then we break through this channel, do a little retest, come back up. I mean, this neckline, break through the neckline, come back up to here. And well, some sort of movement oscillation in this channel that I've drawn here. Not sure exactly, but movement up in this area. As we come through the Gaussian channel, probably test it as support, come back up here, hit this, maybe fall back in, retest the Gaussian channel as support, come back up here, do a little dance, have some sort of a dump back down to the bottom of this channel where we hold it as support. And I see us busting a move out of our ascending triangle. Now, you know what? I'll get into this ascending triangle right now because this is all really, really sloppy. But where these arrows are is where our base of our triangle is. And it is the bottom of this white channel, which is very, very important in the start of our parabolic bull runs. And very coincidentally, the top of the white channel intersects Well, actually, this is really, really interesting. The channel we just drew intersects the top of the white channel right after this green line, and I predicted that the parabolic bull run will start at this green line. So that's very, very interesting. Once we break this, it depends. We've had various interactions in the past where we've been bouncing around in here, and once we've broken out of it, we started the bull run. We've had other times where we've danced along the top of this channel and then had a bounce off of it that started the bull run. So, but always an interaction with this channel. Um, so you know what? This is getting we're getting on, and this is very unclear as to where these triangles are, and it'll become more clear as May plays out here and our movement through the channel plays out here. But I do expect some sort of movement back up to or just out of the channel or the triangle, back down into it to retest the bottom, which this is the bottom, aside from this down here, and then finally a breakout retest and onwards and upwards here. Now, now I want to talk about the 5 day setup, which is something I learned from Eric Crown Crypto channel, and but you know, so this was nowadays. I think he uses different indicators to as for the setup, but it doesn't matter. It's all the same. He uses a volatility thing here. We're using the BBWP. I think he has newer indicators, but whenever it goes below 10%, this is the 5 day. Then it was way down at like 3 or something. It was really low, and I believe can we make this bigger? Yeah, so you can see it's coming up here. It's starting to curve upwards, and then once it uh, breaks through this expands. Once it expands above 10% here, and usually when it does that, it well sometimes it kind of fizzles along here and it doesn't really give a clear signal. Like back here, it kind of did that. It kind of never really took off. But when we get a breakout like we did here, then now what he says is that the direction tends to go in the direction of the stochastic oscillator. But I believe it's different because when you're looking at these historically, what happens is that the oscillator moves in the direction of the breakout. It's not the breakout that moves in the direction of the oscillator, it's vice versa. So we're coming down here, and while we're still pointed downwards, when we get that breakout, it's going to move upwards. This is going to reverse. Now we still have 2 days left in this 5 day time frame, so I don't expect that we'll get an expansion now, but we will start to, and this will reverse this oscillator here. And then I do expect the breakout to be in the next 5 day period, or at least by the one after that. I'm thinking, it could be either way. I'm thinking that once we get it's really funny that this 2 days, there's 2 days left on this 5 day period, which would be today and Tuesday. And then what happens on Wednesday, we get the CPI numbers. So could very well see a breakout after that and see expansion here from the BBWP. And always what happens on the 5 day chart, on this 5 day setup, if you wait for this breakout, by the time it happens, you've missed it. On the 2 day, it's a little bit closer. You can catch it right as we're expanding on the 2 day, but on the 5 day, a lot of times at once you've seen that it's already broken out. The big move has already happened here. Like, let's maybe look back at what happened here. Oh, now I don't, let me switch to my cursor again. I took the cursor away because It's kind of annoying, actually. So you can see here on the BBWP, once we expanded, come on, let's go over there. Once we expanded, we had these two candles already that you missed out. You wanted to get in while we were down here in the blue. Actually, way back here, once we just once we fell below. So yeah, once we fell below it, that was the best buying period right there at the bottom of this stochastic RSI indicator and this one indicator right here. So right now, I'm thinking this is going to be the bottom. I think this is probably the best buying opportunity right now. Let's look at what, yeah, actually a couple days ago, this would probably have been the best buying opportunity. Um, hmm. We still had some downward movement to go. But actually, with the stochastic RSI, it looks like that's about bottomed out there. And you can see that we are, let's expand this. What are we doing there? It's so close. Ah, the blue one's, oh, I can just look over here at the numbers. Blue one's just below the red one and about to come up there. We're on the verge. We are on the verge here. What happened to my little wait, how do I shrink the, oh, there we go. Um so there you have that. 5-day period ends Tuesday night. Start a new one Wednesday. That's when we get our expansion. And if you wait till then, you're gonna miss it. Not financial advice, but there's a chance you might not miss it if it does happen actually in the next 5-day period after that. But and what would you be missing? I'm believing you're missing a huge move upwards, but again, could be a huge move downwards. Uh, but you're missing a huge move either way. But I think we've reset enough. We have we've looked at enough here. Let's go to the weekly time frame because we just closed. I've been rambling on for so long that we closed the week already and have kind of a nice indecision candle. See, it's so funny how they make these candles. Look, we got a wick of the same height up and below, above and below this red candle here. That's so hilarious. Um, and that means that then we are now see one when Trading View starts the week here, it's confused for a minute because if you look at these candles here, how could we closed at 61,479 and then started right back up according to this chart at 69 $500 cheaper. No, that's not right. It draws an extra green wick or green body below where we actually started. We actually started right there. It's green nonetheless, but um, the body doesn't go that low. The body should be right here, starting right here at whatever number that is. 61 460 61 500 essentially. So I don't know why that there's a glitch. There's a glitch in the thing. So let's move on from that. What do we want to look at here? We want to look at the stochastic. It's the weekly stochastic indicator that we're looking to. Is it the weekly? This doesn't seem to be right. I see that the stochastic RSI is flipping up here and it's going to cross through here. But I was thinking that it was this one that we are looking for to cross upwards through the other one. Is that in fact the case? Have I had these two backwards this whole time? Maybe I have, because they look very similar. Well, why don't we stop and figure this out? Yeah, so it's the stochastic RSI. That's what I thought. This is the one I've been looking at. So it's not stochastic. When this blue line comes up and it's below the 20 level here, it's way down here at the bottom, and crosses up through the red, which it's about to do. It was much more separated just over here. It was, yeah, had more degree. Anyway, um, and it's turning up and it's ready to go. It's ready to cross right up through there and off to the races we go. So let's look back and see what has happened in the past when we did that, when we crossed up through here, started this rally upwards. And yeah, that was in, okay, so that was in September. And it started off slow and then boom. Remember, it was in the time, it was right when the my God, it was exactly when the Gerber baby indicator was flashing. Another time that we did it was right here. Now look, once it crossed through right here, remind you we're on a weekly. Uh, you missed the move already. Here, you still had some time. What about back here? This it's kind of in between. Yeah, this one you could have caught it. Yeah, you could have caught it on that week because it did move up. I think, I don't know. This is where that week finished. No, no. See, this is where this week closed way, way, way down here. So far down. And then the next week exploded, causing it to come up through the red there. See, same here, it looks like. Let's move this chart up a little bit. I can't do it. So we had this week here close, and then the next week we came right up to the line, and then we did nothing, 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 nothing. That's really weird. And kind of just fizzled out here, and then didn't explode till over there. Huh. Up here looks like it. What is this down here? See, this is in a bear market. This is way back in 2022. So we had a little rally there. But yeah, so it's not a good indicator in the bear market at all, because once we come down here and we're oversold, we just stay oversold. You got to use it in conjunction with the trends. So when we're trending down and we're down here, it's probably can just stay down here like we did here, like we did here. So that's not good. But when we're in a bull, when the trend is upwards and we come down here and we're crossing up through it, yep, baby, we're about to explode. You can see that the RSI down here is starting to curve upwards. It did right here, but yeah, I imagine we curve back upwards and all good. It's all good here. Now you notice that the BBWP is low here. It's not critically low or extremely low, but nonetheless, it's low and ready for a curve upwards on the weekly time frame. So things are looking very, very bullish, and I believe that they are losing their chances to dump on us. So let me stop and see what else I want to tell you. Now we're going to take a look at what's going to happen tomorrow morning when market opens. Uh, Until then, I believe we'll just keep continuing to travel upwards in that channel, which I'll show you in a second. But right now we're looking at the FBTC chart, and it was back at some point over here I determined that we were changing from let's see, like this aqua channel right here, where we're clearly moving up through this channel um, and starting to transition into this the direction, the slope of these purple channels here. And so we determined that back here that we were kind of changing. And so then I placed all these purple channels here. Um, it's not real clear. It's not as clear like on the Bitcoin chart. But for example, like maybe over here, you can see how price action was contained in the upper portion of this channel. We closed the candle body there. Like I said, it's not real clear, but you can see how we had closes here and then interaction with the channel here clearly in an upward fashion with the bottom, the close here, and then the closes here. 3 consecutive days in a row. Everything's kind of in these 2 wicks right here. You can see how everything's kind of traveling in this fashion. Anyway, regardless, if you can't see it, I can see it, and that's all that really matters. So this is Friday's candle. What I propose, like for example here, okay, this is pretty clear. We wicked up here, closed a candle body there. So we had these 2 closes right here on the top of this channel. We came right down and wicked to the bottom of this channel or to the top of this channel as support. Same thing in the next day. Here this day, closed the candle body right at the top of the channel. And on the next day, on here Thursday, and on Friday, closed all these candle bodies at the top of this channel where they had been acting as support back here, resistance back here. So there, that's pretty clear. So what I propose is going to happen on Monday is that we move from here, from our line that will measure up Monday to back to the top of this channel. We will close the candle body at the top of this channel. And that is about a 4.5% move. So if we made a 4.5% move on this Bitcoin chart here, mind you, I believe that we will continue to oscillate in this channel. Oh, I don't think I mentioned why I chose this green candle as where we would start the morning, but merely because it's at the center line of this channel, and there seems to be support right back here and resistance at that level at around 61,800. We had a lot of consolidation right there, a lot of support and resistance right here. So it just seemed like if we were to continue moving upwards, that we might stop. We might get stuck right about there when market opened. And it's right with the center line of the channel. So I believe that's why I chose that. I don't know. I don't remember. I put that X there a long time ago. But I think that's why I did that. Now, remember, 4.5%. We want to measure 4.5% from, and I got to squish this stuff together because, I think I just gave it away. We want to measure 4.5% from Friday's close, which is right there on the 19th. I mean, on 1900 hours. 4.5% brings us up to this white X here, approximately. I don't think I got on there, started at exactly the right spot. But anyway, white X is at 4.5%. So I placed that there for Monday morning at market close, 1900 hours. And what's really, really funny is that lines up with resistance right here. You got a little bit of resistance and you got some support going on here. A little bit of resistance. What was it? What number was it? Wait, that's not right. Why did I say 800? It's about 63,500. Is that what I said? 63.5. Anyway, yeah, a lot of support right here, resistance back here, resistance back here. Looks like, oh, we got more back here. What do we got back here going on? Yeah, looks like a lot of stuff going on at 63.5, even all the way back here. Wow, it just goes back and back and back, doesn't it? So 63.5, let's look at that here. I think we'll start the day off here at the green X, move up to the white X tomorrow. It's about time we move onwards and upwards. And that would be like kind of like over the weekend thing, although this happened on Friday market open, but still come back up to where we left off here. Makes perfect sense to me. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And then I believe, I believe everybody's going to start going, hey, maybe we're actually done with this little dumpy that we did, and we're ready to move onwards and upwards. Oh, mind you, too, we are back outside the channel, our bull flag channel on the. Let's switch to a 4-hour. I can see it more clearly. The awkward channel pointing downwards. We broke out of it back here, fell back into it, broke out of it, fell back into it, and now we're back out of it once again. And I believe we will not be returning in this lifetime whatsoever. So I think I've said all about I want to say, and probably all you want me to say. Let's just briefly look at what's going on back here. Not a whole heck of a lot. We're moving up nicely. That looks good. Everything looks. Let's see how render's doing. My pride and joy. Yeah, it's about 11. It's not really doing much. It's got to go up to like 400 or something. That's a lot of. Yeah, nobody's doing much. Nobody's doing much. They're waiting for the market to open. They're waiting for CPI numbers, but I think the dumpiness is done. All right, like, subscribe, and see you next time.